So today we are doing a product review. This is Strada from Bryan Taylor, award-winning.
Yeah, when I got it, I found it really compact. It's really small. And then as I took off the parts and put it all together, I realized how sturdy it is. And when I'm setting it up, I really like how much palette space there is in this easel box. So then we set up the tripod, and once the tripod is set up, is great for plein air or even in studio painting.
So it's pretty sturdy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I like that little tin for the solvents as well.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I really want to know. Now, we could definitely talk about the experience of the easel, and I would love to also talk about your painting, and there's a bunch of questions I would love to know as well, so I hope that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So you're using, I just saw a hair dryer somewhere there. The hair dryer, I always assume that oils take a super long time to dry.
It's actually acrylic, that first layer. The brown layer that I put down was actually 2-3 layers of acrylic. Is very thin acrylic with a medium. And because of that, I'm I use the hair dryer to dry the acrylic so that I can get into the oil painting right away.
Do you ever do things the opposite, where you're starting off with oils and then you add acrylics after?
Definitely not. Because
that doesn't make sense, right?
Can't do acrylic on top of oil. You can only do oil on top of acrylics.
That's what I was thinking. Now, the painting kind of looks small compared to the other paintings that you had in your gallery show.
Yeah, I find that the easel is great for smaller works. I think the maximum size I was able to get it to hold was 12 by 16 inches tall. So it can go a bit more horizontal as you want. But I had this painting in mind. I wanted to see how it would work with the palette, especially try to match the approximate size.
Now, I do have to say, I love the painting in the end, because I went to your gallery show and this painting was sold by the time I got there. So I guess it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Forcing you to paint a little smaller.
Right, yeah. This one, you can see right here, I'm building the colors here, and it's probably the second color layer here. And the palette space, I really use one side of the palette to add all the colors, have my main colors, and then the other side of the palette is generally for medium and pigments. And I try to have enough palette space, and I find that to be enough because of the extra extension of that palette space.
You could also see that you cleaned it up, and then you have a new palette of paint. How was the cleaning process?
I think the palette is actually plexiglass. So whenever I'm done, I just take a little bit of solvent and on a paper towel, and I just wipe it off. It's really easy, actually.
Oh. Now, some people, I think they don't like a white palette to put paints on. Is there a reason for that?
Some people like to match their palette color with the base tone of their painting. So if they're painting a gray, mid-tone ground to start, sometimes they like to tone their palette as a mid-tone ground. I actually think it's probably possible to do that. You can probably just use kind of paint a color on top of the on the plexiglass, and probably just start from a colored palette instead if you want to do that.
I guess, would you do that with acrylic then?
Yeah, I think probably acrylic, probably 3-4 coats of acrylic, since the plexiglass is plastic.
Yeah, and you don't want the oil paint to mix in with oil paint, right? If you use that to coat it.
Yeah, but yeah, I find it's fine. Also, with plein air, if you really want a toned board, you could just get a wooden board in the same size and just cut it the same size and put it in.
Having a good brush makes a big difference compared to a really crummy brush. What about the stand and everything?
I like it a lot with the first, the palette is really light. That's really the big thing for me, because a lot of easel boxes are very heavy because they're made of wood usually. So this is, I think, the best thing. My favorite thing about this is it's just because of how light it is. It looks like it's metal, but then actually the whole thing, when it's compressed together, is actually really light. I like that you can take it apart easily and then just bring it around with you. And then also the tripod is also compressible, right? So everything together, I can put it all in like a small bag, and then I can carry it with me.
I was assuming that this is very much designed for outdoor sketching as well. I would assume that that's
Absolutely.
kind of like the stuff you'd look for. I was assuming that these easels, it would be, well, you just change clothes. Awesome.
Another day.
It's good to know that you change clothes every once in a while. Yeah, I was assuming that maybe there might be a certain weight that you would want the easel, especially if you're painting outside. If it's light as a feather, then it might shake all around. Does that matter?
It matters, yeah. But I find that it's fairly sturdy. At least from the 2 weeks or so that I've worked on this, and I think the easel connection to the tripod, maybe that part is sometimes like a little bit more shakier, that part. But generally, I find it to be pretty easy to work with. When you're outside painting plein air, especially, I assume that a lot of people would use this for that. And if you do that, I think the wind, it shouldn't affect it much because there's already a weight to it.
I really, really like this painting, and not because we're doing some product review for Strada, but just overall, I thought this was like the coolest painting this is my favorite painting in your gallery.
Oh, thank you, Bobby.
Now, the guy, did he have that color hair?
He did, yeah. So this is my friend Yishuan, and he when we're doing a photo shoot, for this painting or just for paintings in general, and he actually messaged me about a day before. He's like, "Oh, I have green hair today. I dyed it, for another thing, and is that okay?" I'm like, "Oh, that's totally great." I haven't really painted people with a very unique colored hair for in my past work, so I definitely gave it a shot. And once he showed up, he had the orange jacket or orange sweater. And once I saw the match and the lighting and the orange and the green, I think it was pretty cool to match it up. That way, it's almost like a complimentary, but slightly off of it.
And finally, can you kind of explain the idea behind this painting?
Oh, this painting is called Midnight in Jiufen. Jiufen is like the area an area in Taiwan where it's like a lot of people visit. That area inspired Miyazaki's Spirited Away. And my friend here, he took me to Jiufen when we were in Taiwan. So, this one is like the background is in that area and that space. I told him to pose like as if he was smoking because, we did a lot of different poses, and then this one I found to be really interesting in the posing and the composition. Once I put it all together, it really worked out.
Looks awesome. Loved it.
Thank you.
All right, well, so that's the Strada Easel. Obviously it worked because Peter sold his painting. But
Yeah.
of course you got to have skills too. So thank you so much, Peter.